there's a wonderful African proverb: to go fast, go alone; to go far, go together. And that forms the basis of strategic alliances. In my history, I wrote 10 books by myself. I self-funded 8 of them. 2 were published, but 8 were me. Very expensive back in the days when you had to print, not the short ones like Patrick can do, but the 3,000, 5,000, 10,000 books. Now you can do 5 or 10 or 1 if you want. In realising that it was possible to collaborate with people, as long as you make it easy and very clear with your collaboration and what your expectation, what you will do, how much time it takes, how much it costs, the alliances can work very well. And that's how I went from 20 to 30 books very quickly, through collaborating and being a contributor, and in some cases the project manager. So a couple of things on alliances. What I'm going to suggest is that these books are inexpensive. You can get them at Coles or Woolworths, a LinkedIn type, LinkedIn, Officeworks type place. And one of the ways, I will not offload, these are lovely gifts I'm giving you that I don't have to take back on Virgin tomorrow morning and pay excess baggage for. But one of the ways, I want to show you my systems because I think that will make it clearer for you. So this is a larger than A4. And I know that we've got technical people here and their thing is technology, and that's great. I'm visual, I like to see it, I also like to touch it, and I'm a to-do person, or to-do list person. I am very organised, and my life is pretty much in 4 categories. I have a personal life, which sometimes is up here and sometimes is down there, depending, and that might include walking and exercise and reading and movies and social things. I have a regular client in Darwin that I'm on the board. I work up there, I consult up there at least every 6 weeks. I'm there for a week or 10 days. And I do a whole stack of projects with them, and that's predominantly around writing, a little bit of speaking, but predominantly around writing. I have my study, which is nearly finished, almost, a graduate diploma in Indigenous Policy Development. Oh, only 1 more semester to go. Woohoo, is it? And that's only 2 lines now, whereas years ago it was a lot. And down here, or up here, depending on the priority, 1, 2, 3, 4 is really whichever one has the priority. Down here could be the clients that I'm writing books for, the clients that I'm project managing, and if there's timelines on information that I need for them. Speaking clients, that might be another little, I'll cut this in half, but it's compartmentalising the things that you do. So why is it relevant to strategic alliance or to reinvention? You might have a page like this, you might have a whole page itself on reinvention, and you start to write down your thoughts on strategic alliances. One of these for you might represent strategic alliances. But I find that if you're putting it in writing and you're making it some form, then it comes to life, okay? Comes to life more. Who needs that? I think Angie, being the loyal supporter that she is, you can have one of those, and there's a few more to give away in a little bit. Thank you, offloading. Oh, you're ungrateful. You pass that on. You don't. Butcher's paper, very good. Yeah, very good. Yeah, it's a visual thing. It's a visual reminder. And A3 post-it pads, thanks for reminding, A3 post-it pads from Officeworks that you can put around, particularly if you're writing, they're fantastic to just put around, and you can put your little notes on your post-it notes, shove them up on your A3 post-it, and put it in a place obviously where there's not a lot of condensation, not the bathroom, not the back of the bathroom door, but somewhere where if you've got children or visiting or in your home, they don't pull all the bits down. So really simple systems. So let's look on page 2 of the handout. And it says, what is a strategic alliance? And my definition is that strategic alliance is basically when two or more people come together for mutual gain. Strategic alliance, when two or more people come together for mutual gain. Whether it's one organisation and another, ABC and XYZ coming together for mutual gain, they still, ABC is represented by one or more people, XYZ is represented by one or more, so it still comes down to peoples. And alliances fail for many reasons, and sometimes it's the personalities don't work. So, the difference between networking and strategic alliances, networking is giving without expectation. Networking is doing something for someone, not to get something back, but because you want to help them achieve their goal. So for those of you who had not been to this community centre before, someone might have told you how to get here. Or you might have been in the wrong spot, as I was, and have the lady say, "You're looking for the community centre? Oh, you're in the wrong spot. It's around the corner." Because I obviously wasn't meant to be where the building I was in. At 7:45, I was looking, with the bag, looking lost. So giving without expectation is part of the networking. If we've got time, we'll touch a little bit on networking at the end, but let's focus on the alliances. So if networking is giving without expectation and strategic alliances is mutually coming together for mutual gain, they're different. And I believe that you can't have a strategic alliance without knowing something about this person and networking with them. Impossible to have this because you've got no trust. And what forms the basis of strategic alliances is a bridge of trust. So we come together, and for some of you in the room, I've known a couple of you for a long time, a couple of you for a short time, but it's like a bridge. Here are total strangers. For some of you in the room, you knew no one. You walked in cold, no one. Hopefully by the end of the morning, by 12:30 when you walk out the door, you'll all be acquaintances. Some of you might even strike up a friendship. And that's a bridge that we're building between two people. Some of you may end up dealing with suppliers in the room, not necessarily form a strong alliance with them, but certainly give them an opportunity to quote on or experience the service that they offer. So that once the bridge's trust is built, then what comes up here, and you've all seen it with a customer ladder of loyalty, so we go from stranger, acquaintance, friend, and then we go customer, client, advocate. So I believe that this building trust forms the basis of repeat business and ultimately your name coming up and someone going, yes, they're fantastic.
What's the difference between a customer and a client?
Good question. The difference between a customer and a client, customer buys once. Client buys 2 or more times, and an advocate does your selling for you. Customer buys once, customer buys once, client buys 2 or more times, and advocate does your selling for you. So when you get to advocacy level, what happens, sometimes in business, people will give you, and Patrick would find this in his job, and you might find this with the work and certainly with the jewellery. Someone gives you a little job. Oh, geez, it's $100. Would you bother? It's not much of a job in the bigger scheme of business. But they're not wanting to risk their $5,000 job until they see how good you are on the $100 job. So they test you a little bit. Absolutely. Would you take 20 people to a restaurant you hadn't been to and try it out yourself? When you go, oh, let's go to XYZ. And they go, oh, have you been there before? Yeah, it was great. No, never tried it. I just thought 20 of us would risk it's a good restaurant. You wouldn't do it in a million years. You walk in, you see it. And if they ignore you, you think, oh, I don't think it's this one. We're going to spend 30, 40, 50, 60 or more dollars a head. We don't want to go to a restaurant that's no good. So here's how you tie LinkedIn, which we've just touched on, and strategic alliance. And here's how you prospect. This is going back now about 18 months. This woman is no longer working for this printer in South Australia. But her prospecting was looking for self-published authors. And with part of my description on LinkedIn, it came up project management, assisting self-published authors. I think that's how I worded it at the time. So she contacted me and she said, my name's Janelle. I work with so-and-so in a printer in South Australia. I noticed, and it was quite a lengthy email that she sent me. I noticed I've been looking around LinkedIn looking for people who print in Australia. It looks to me like you may do that. I'd love to talk to you about blah, 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 how we might be able to help. By the way, I noticed your birthday is the same as my daughter's, and I love humpback whales too. What she showed to me is she bothered to read the profile to the very end where I put my interests. Not that they're relevant to anyone, but they're relevant to me. She at least had a connection with the daughter. Let me know what's a good time to phone you. That was her LinkedIn message. So I thought, give her a go. I'm always looking for a printer. It's good to get a quote. And I just got a quote from the one I was using in another state. So I contacted her, said, here's a good time to ring it. So she rang at the time and we had a chat and I said, look, can't promise you anything. I said, some of my authors like to print offshore. I said, I'm pro-Australia. I do everything in Australia. I will get it prepared for them, but I won't guarantee out there, but I will guarantee when it's done in Australia and the people that I like to recommend. And she said, fair enough, do you want to let me quote you? I said, yep, sure. I said, you're in Adelaide, and at the time I had a Darwin client. We were doing this full colour, huge job. It was a submission for accreditation. It was a very complicated thing. It had 1,000,001 photos. It took forever. And I was quoting, and it was very fiddly. And we were doing the typesetting, having it all done, but sending it through was a big thing. And I said, this is a job in Darwin. It's a not-for-profit. They haven't got much of a budget, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, she gave me the quote on that. Then because I'd had a quote for my books, I knew what they cost. I said, give us a quote on that. I've got to say, with this print job, I think I drove her crazy. I know I don't even think it. I know I drove her crazy. And every time I'd say, I'm sorry, we've just got this, da, da, da. However, what ended up happening, they got two huge, well, not huge, but although we only printed 15 copies, it was a couple of $1,000s worth of work because it was a very big finished product. And she got to do it twice because there was a change from here, not a typo, as we heard last night, but a change from here. We got that accreditation, then we had to apply for another one, so there was another thing over here that we had to do. So it was a change from this one, an upgrade of that, and it's going again later this year. So she left within 6 months, and another lady came in and said, Janelle's off overseas, I'll be dealing with you now. And I've driven this poor woman crazy too. But the work has come off for her with different people I've contacted. And even when I say, look, this one wants to go to China, but would you mind just giving me a quote because I just want to show her what it would cost to do this in Australia. And she said, no problem, Robyn. So it can be done, and I see with people like that, particularly, I've never met her. If she walked in here now, I wouldn't know. I'd know her voice, but I do not know what she looks like. So that is part of alliances as I see it. They're part of the alliances that I have, a supplier-client relationship over a period of time, and I'm her advocate. Now, that doesn't say I don't have other people that I use, but for certain jobs, she's the best one, I know, for certain things that we do. So you would have those same people too. You would have a restaurant, you would have a mortgage broker, you would have a banker, you would have an electrician, a plumber, all these service providers, and a lot of different things. You do a course, or if you come to these workshops and say, these are great, we always get information, we get handouts, this is great. I like to feel I've invested 3.5 hours and it was worthwhile. So that's an alliance. But where I see some of you can really benefit is making the alliances work for you in a way that you are more strategic about getting them in the first place and how they're going to work. So let's look at the 3 main reasons strategic alliances fail. I believe the first one is lack of commitment. Just lack of commitment. The person says, yeah, we'll do that. And they don't get that just like reinvention, when you form an alliance, you've got to make space in your diary to fit it in. Whether you're going to have a Skype meeting, a Zoom meeting or a face-to-face meeting, you've got to diarise 1 hour or 2 hours or whatever time you agree on, or half an hour. You've got to diarise that time in and you've got to commit to that time. Or you have a very rubbery one that says, oh, I'll meet with you if I've got nothing better on. Or you come to the arrangement, look, let's put it down for Friday afternoon, but I'll understand if you get a client needs you, that's okay, we can reschedule. Or you say, I can do this out of hours because I think, your income producing time, which is rubbery, 9 to 5, but that's your income producing time. So let's not do that within 9 to 5 hours. Let's do it income generating time. Income generating is 9 to 5. Income building is out of hours. Yeah. So either way, it's lack of commitment. The second one would be no driver. A driver of a strategic alliance is the person, almost like the project manager, who says, okay, 4 of us are going to get together next Tuesday afternoon. We're going to go to the Shell Harbour Club up on the hill, and we're going to meet at 3 o'clock in the such and such bar. And it's not a drinking session, it's there. We're going to spend 90 minutes talking about how we can help each other's businesses. If you're there, we'll know you're interested. If you're not, and you might go, 3 o'clock, I've got children, that's impossible. Okay, well, so what time suits you? Well, I could do it. How about we do it like 8 o'clock at night? Okay, well, there might be an 8 o'clock shift or there might be an 8 a.m. shift. But you work around, part of finding the right ally for you is, or the right collaborator, is someone that's available around the same times you are. What else do you think might be one of the reasons why alliances fail?
I don't like you.
I don't like you. Oh, yeah, I'm not compatible with you, or I didn't like you in the first place.
All of those things, personalities.
Personalities do enter into it, for sure.
Yeah, that's happening. Not the right marriage.
Yes, correct, not the right marriage. Yeah, not the right partners. And you didn't know that the person was like that because often what you see and who they are, there's the mask. Or they're a bit neurotic and you didn't quite get that the first time you met them. Or they lie. That's a big one for me. If they lie, it's just like red flag, whoop, out of here. There's the trilogy of trust. And the trilogy of trust is the trust that one person has in another that's passed on to the third party. So I talked last night about Trevor West from the Shell Harbour City Council, who I've worked with before, and when he heard I was coming down to do the staff session, he contacted me and said, and I was packing at 450 show bags at the time, for the Gold Coast Film Festival opening night. I said, oh yeah, Trevor. He said, oh, here you coming down to Shell Harbour. Do you think you could do a session for us? You know, you did you do the night one, then you do the workshop. I went, oh, okay, well, if you can have it on this date. And he went, oh, I said, no, it's this date because I can't make 2 trips. I can just, if you can squash it all in the one, I can do it then. It's great. So the trilogy of trust meant that I trust Trevor, the members, the businesses in the area trust Trevor. So all those people showed up last night and again this morning. So it's the trust that one person has in another that's passed on to the third party. In collaborations, it can work the other way, where people say, oh, do you want to come? I'm setting up a mastermind group. I'm setting up a potential strategic alliance. I've got Fred from X Bank. Oh, no, I don't like him. He's got a bad reputation. He let my friend down. Okay, so it can work for you. It can work against you. And that's how and what we've got to look at with the businesses and relating it to the mortgage, to everyone, but thinking of the mortgage and the strata information, is the lifetime value of the client. They might have scraped in to get their mortgage here, but they will sing your praises. They'll be your advocates out there for years. Okay. One of the reasons why they fail also is not enough money. We've got a champagne idea and we've got a beer budget, or we've got no budget. And most strategic alliances initially kick off with no income coming in. So you've got to, and this is a shift out of your comfort zone, I'm going to suggest to you that you think you start valuing your time at $1,000 an hour. Now, that doesn't mean that's your charge-out rate. That's not your charge-out rate. Yes, you did sit up straight, didn't you? Oh, I don't know how I feel about that. Oh, my goodness, we're having a bit of a panic attack on the end there. Okay. But what you're getting at, what I'm getting at there is, and I know we laugh and, what you're getting at is, it's your knowledge. It's your life experiences. And until you value that, whether it's someone coming in and whether that white gold or silver is best for them, you know that. You know by looking at their skin. You know that sometimes, I know I'm a silver person. But I didn't know that for years. I wore the wrong jewellery for years because no one ever told me there was a difference. Until a jeweller said, what are you looking at that for? That doesn't even suit you. This is what you need. And I went, but that's silver. And they went, yeah, that's your colour. I went, really? So you don't know till someone tells you. So you've got to think that the little bits that we know, the little bits that just say, well, look, we can probably get a better rate. We can probably look at this. There's ways that we can look at delayed settlement. We can work this. That's your knowledge that you're bringing in. That's your knowledge that you're bringing in, that Patrick brings in with the printing, that you bring in with the problem solving, and the bookkeeping and all of the businesses in the room. That's what you're bringing in. So if you value it, then you say, okay, well, this strategic alliance, I'm not going to have 20 of them because I'll never get any work done. I'll have 1 or 2 that work for me with compatible people. I'll set them up. We'll have ground rules, and that's how it's going to go. Yeah? But if I mentally value it at $1,000, then if someone just says to you, hey, do you want to have lunch? And I'll pick your brains. You go, no, I'm sorry, I'm not available. Because I can tell you, your lunch goes cold, you get indigestion, and you get very resentful by the end of the hour because you think, what was that about? They just want to...
My turn to check out a strategic alliance.
And it's great that you walked away from an alliance that wasn't the right fit. Yeah. And so what I'm going to suggest to you,
I think it would be perfect for her, but
yeah, but
might
have been perfect for her, but not for you. That there can be two different things that people gain from it. And you're wanting to be in an alliance, not necessarily with people in your industry, preferably people out of your industry that stretch your thinking and go, oh, in the mortgage industry we do this. In the printing industry we do it this way. Or when I problem solve for the manufacturers, I do it this way, and you go, oh, that might work. So different thinking.
Yeah, I'm in the process of forming an alliance at the trust.
Yes, it does. It does. And what they're risking...
Because their reputation's on the line.
That's absolutely right. Yeah. So they must have huge confidence in you, because every time you give a referral or bring someone into an alliance, you risk your credibility and you risk your reputation. So I know you won't, but if something happened, any minor thing went wrong, you need to tell them straight away that, hey, we've got a problem with this, I can't deliver on time, or we've had a glitch, because I think clear communication is part of fixing it. But what I want to suggest to you from today on is that you think of strategic alliances as being projects that have a start and a finish date. And say if I was inviting the 3 of you to become part of an alliance with me, I'd say, I'm thinking of starting an alliance, and I'm going to call them projects, and we're starting it in July 1, and we're going to trial it for 3 months. And we're going to meet once a fortnight. Because I believe that you need to have either face-to-face Skype time or bodies in a room, if you can. But certainly what I do with international clients, I pick up the phone. I know Skype's free, but I pick up the phone. Because my thought is, I'd rather have, they're surprised. My thought is, this woman in Hong Kong, I said, oh, yeah, hi, how you going, blah, blah. Had the conversation. I've rung her twice now. Now, in the bigger picture, that will sort of more than pay for itself with the work that I'll get from her. But my thought was, I want to get to yes faster. And if I can get on the phone and I can answer the immediate questions, it saves this time zone back and forth email. because a lot of things can't be, and that was one of the points that this guy that with the negotiation book is, if you can avoid negotiating via email, because via email it all comes down to price. You have a conversation and it's a whole different thing. You can actually talk about the benefits and what you've got to offer in your own experience and all that. But projects have a start date and a finish date. So one of the 3 keys to get from idea to action to results, first one is really to identify a number of people or professions that you would like to form an alliance with. So my thought is you two, definitely there might be a banker, there might be an accountant that would form that mix, because you're looking at referee sources. With the more spiritual, holistic, you're looking for people from all walks of life, but they might not be as structured as an accountant or a lawyer. You might be looking for a different energy.
Fluid.
Yeah, more fluid. Yes, absolutely. Yeah. So with a restaurateur or a jeweller, it might be another retailer or not. It might be a professional person, because depending on your services, you've got to think, who are my potential clients and who has a lot of them right now, or others that could maybe feed into me, and who has the income. You can get a lot of people who want things for free, but you want them to pay for your services, whatever they are. So identifying those either in terms of names of who you want or professions. I've recently moved to Shellharbour. I want 3 key people that do this. Years ago, and Patrick knows my web guy Peter Thorpe, who I've worked with for many years, and Peter got me when I was totally a Luddite, knew nothing about websites. And I was invited at the time to join a mastermind group of speakers, and I said, I don't even have a website. And they said, yeah, but you've got ideas, so we want your ideas. And I remember going to someone who at the time was supposed to be the guru, and he was #1 for websites. And Peter was my next in line. And Peter lived quite close to me, which helped at the time. And I remember making contact with the #1 guy, and he was very sloppy on getting back to you, and Peter was really good. And I explained to them both, I'm really not very computer literate. I know I write books, but that's because I know how to type and think. But I'm not very good, and I just need to explain it really simply to me. And Peter thought, oh God, 20 years later, he's probably thinking I'm still explaining things to her simply. Or I'd say, can I have this? And he'd go, you might find that no one really uses those, or that takes this, and not everyone's got that. Why don't we just try? He's been fantastic over the years. And I remember at the time thinking, this other person, we'll call him John, just for the sake of it. John didn't respond and Peter did. So I went with Peter. And at the time, someone said to me, oh, but so-and-so's the best. I said, he doesn't return calls. Because that was to me, well, why would you go with someone who can't return my call? I'm not important to him. I want someone who is prepared to hold my hand through the first one so I can at least see what that's like. And we've had many websites over the years. So on your list of people you'd like to have as part of your alliance, I would prefer second on my list than #1 who wasn't committed. Because #1 who wasn't committed will never show up. They'll make excuses, they'll do all sorts of stuff, but they'll never be there. And you want them to be there. Yes, so, and I'm also very loyal to suppliers and to part of mastermind groups. What I've learned along the way is there needs to be a driver, and let's say you're the driver, and you're really clear on who you want. And if you can, on less than 1 page, identify, I'm starting a new project / mastermind / strategic alliance. I'm looking to get 2 or 3 people, business owners in the community, to meet together on a regular basis. And then I do the why, what, how. Why would you do this? Because you're looking for more business. What do you want? get to know a couple of business owners and potentially grow our business. How are we going to do that? So why, what, how? Put that on the outline that you send them. And the how is we're going to meet twice a month or once a month, whatever you decide. And you pick the time and the place to suit you. So it's going to be whatever day of the week, whatever time of day suits you. And if the others can't make it, fine. You find others that can. Because you will never, if we all pulled out a diary right now, which we won't, and said, because we've got different, I've got a hard copy, of course, and the rest of you are techies, so you've got, snazzies. And if I pulled out and said, okay, look, I think I might come down here on the 31st of May, you'd go, oh, no, not that day, oh, no, whatever. Wouldn't suit everyone. But what suits you, you're the driver. So that means, and you put at the bottom, are you interested? If I don't hear back from you within 48 hours, I'll assume you're not. That's fine. If you are, please just give me feedback and give me some idea of what time. The proposed dates I'm thinking are June this, Monday, whatever day of the week. So, first and third Mondays of the month between 4 and 5, or 4 and 6. Ideally a 2 hour if you've got 4 people. Okay? So you put the times in, you put the dates in. And then part of it is that so you'll drive the first meeting that you have, and if one person shows up, that's okay. One person shows up, that's okay. You start to get to know them, you firm up what you want it to look like, and then you think, okay, well, you might invite one, you might invite one. But there's boundaries and there's rules within that project, within that mastermind group. Long term, it's very clear that you're there to generate business for each other, and you set up systems so that's really easy for people to give you referrals. And it might be something as simple as supplying a business card holder, another little Officeworks number. And you say, okay, well, let's work this. We have 4 or 5 business cards from each other, and we'll just put that, and this becomes part of our referral folder. So if we have the opportunity, and some of you are in unique businesses, if we have the opportunity, you'll be the first port of call on who we refer. And we'll write on the back, referred via Robyn Henderson, whatever your name is, on the back. And when we give it out, we'll say, please mention my name. So it's not like a BNI where you come and you report in and say how much business you've given to each other, but part of it's your intention that you will actually give business to each other, okay? And you have some ground rules. So the ground rules are really, so any questions just on the actual, that you're going to drive this project to set up a mastermind / strategic alliance with the view that as you build trust faster, you will generate, but you don't need a huge amount of people giving you referrals. It's great if you've got that, but you need a handful of people who understand you, understand your business, and are confident enough that if I refer you, you're not going to let me down. You're going to do a good job. Okay, so any questions on that? No? Okay. So do you want to, again, share with the person beside you? 12:15, my goodness. Okay, no sharing. So we'll go through.
Just quickly tell me the difference between an alliance and a joint venture.
Oh, okay. Good question. A difference between an alliance and a joint venture. Joint venture, well, and people refer to it as JV. I think joint ventures are more formal and usually definitely involve money than an alliance. Okay. That's in my brain. Anyone got another thought on that? Yeah. I think the joint venture is we're collaborating to create something or sell something, do something together to both get money, but it's a real money focus, whereas the collaboration is 2 of us coming together for mutual gain. You'll give me a fresh perspective on my business and I will also gain from it. And as trust is built, we will refer business to each other. And it might be that as a driver, you say, look, how about we have, one of the things we might suggest is that you're doing business with real estate agents and you're doing business with small business owners. How about we arrange 10 of us go out for lunch to such and such, pick in a place that is acoustically good, not a lot of, muffled sound, and let's just get to know each other. So you host that lunch. Everyone pays, you split the bill, you make that really clear, you go to a reasonably priced restaurant. It's going to be $25 a head, $30, whatever these days. BYO, we're going to be there from 12 till 2. The idea, again, is why would you bother? We're wanting to get to know each other with a view that we might be able to refer business to each other. That's it. So you host...
Joint venture, Robyn, is where the target is already set.
Yeah, absolutely. That's good. Yeah.
It's a loose...
Yeah, that's it. That's a good focus. Yes, I think if it's totally money driven, it puts a whole different energy on it. I can do projects, but it's like co-authoring. I say to people, look, I prefer to project manage it and you can contribute. So when you do those ebooks, you can interview 1 million people in the region or around the world to give you 3 mistakes that people make in so-and-so's opinion. You can do that, but you're driving it. You're driving it rather than trying to find agreement on stuff, because often there's hidden agendas and conflicts of interest that people don't disclose. So it's very important. If you just have a start, let's have one, see how it goes, and we'll go from there. Your agenda is, if this first meeting goes okay, we'll have more of these. But this is just the introductory, let's get to know each other. Yeah? So you start with that. Okay, so the mastermind group, now let's just establish the parameters on that. And the format. If you had no more than 4 people, would be my advice, 3 maybe, no more than 4, because you can't manage it. In a 2-hour situation, and that would be the time, ideally you don't have a lot of food or drink involved, it's really just about notes and, people brainstorming. Coffee maybe, bit of cake, food's, you're not there for food. It's not lunch, you're not there for food, you're there for collaborating. And in a 2-hour situation, you'd have the first 10 minutes would be chit-chat. How are you going? What have you been up to? Good. And then it would start. And if we had these 4 people here, then John would start, and it's his turn initially. So out of the 2 hours, everyone gets 15 minutes, okay? 15 minutes to brainstorm. And the more succinct you are at expressing your situation. So it would be, John might say, well, I'm looking for more business. Okay, John, well, what have you tried so far? Or this is what I do. Okay. Now, the rules are there are no bad ideas. You are not allowed, as the person in the hot seat, to go, nah, that won't work. Nah, try that. Nah, because that just shuts down creative thinking. So Angie, or the person beside them, would be the scribe. So John is here, focuses on John, we're talking here, and then Angie's making notes for John, which she hands over. So he's not worried about, I want to get this down and I want to make sure I don't miss anything. She's recording everything, still contributing. So John has his 15 minutes, and then, okay, any more questions? No, that's great. And it's time. So you set your phone so the time goes off at 13 minutes, you've got 2 minutes, then it's, okay, that's it. Right, Angie hands over the notes. Then it's Angie's turn. You take the notes. Everyone gets 15 minutes. Now that's an hour and a bit usually, sometimes goes over. You've got the 10 minutes. And then towards the end of it, you go, okay, all right, so what's the action plan? And then we go back to those people. And what often happens is by the time we get up to you, Jodie, with your ideas, that might be some ideas back here that John can use. And so it goes. So ideas keep coming. And then we do, okay, so what's your action plan for the next 30 days? So you've got what are you doing? And you're accountable to the group. And what's your long-term plan? And then, what's the worst case scenario? It's going to work. What's the best case? And again, each time you just say that it's confidential. Everything within that is confidential. You agree to that. You don't necessarily want them to sign a confidential, it gets a bit formal if you're confidentiality policy, but you just say, this is our policy, this is what we do. Very simple rules. And give it a name, so it might be the 248 or it might be the Monday Club or something, so that if you see them out socially, oh, I'll see you at the Monday Club. And if people say, I want to be part of that, no, not part of this one, we might start another one. But don't have more than 2 going because it just takes too much time. Okay, so let's just wind it up. I know we're nearly out of time, and if you've got to go, it's okay if you've got to go early. We've got the 7 keys to developing strategic alliances. So first one, select your partners carefully. Make sure you attract like-minded people with similar values. So what you were saying before, Phil, that you aligned with someone who was not honourable, who didn't do what they were saying they were going to, who let you down in some way. Very important. Personal habits are really important. You know, if you're a smoker and a non-smoker, heavy drinker, non-drinker, that can be oil and water. Yep. Thank you. Be clear on your desired outcome. Be as specific as possible. And that's really when you do the why, what, how. Why are we meeting? What do we want to achieve? How are we going to do that? Very important. Never assume anything. You have an agreement that emails will be returned within 24 hours unless it's impossible, unless you're away or on holidays or something. Never assume that your idea of urgent is their idea of urgent. Language is really important, and you pre-agree that what you're going to do. Document key points as soon as possible after the initial discussion. So whoever's the driver, so I drive my little movie group, very informal alliance. I drive my little movie group, and I'm the one who sends out, next Monday night we're going to see such and such, and here's the future dates for future events. So you make it simple. It's one email. It's not huge. You're the driver. Set specific timelines and exit clauses or trial timeframes. Let's try this. Let's have one meeting, see if we gel. That's it. If we don't, that's okay. Let's just go our separate way. And you have a rule that if you miss more than 2 meetings, unless you're in hospital, we'll assume that you're not really interested or you've changed priorities. You know, you make it a nice exit clause. You've changed priorities. It's okay. You don't replace them. You shut that group down and you start up another one. So you all come in from scratch again rather than just keep shoving in people to make it, because synergy is quite different from group to group. And it ensures clean breaks, and in small communities, you've got to see that person around. You don't want to feel uncomfortable. Aim to work win-win always. So it's win-win, you both win from it. Brainstorm possible best and worst case scenarios. Best case scenario, you get at least 1 referral a month, which might end up being worth, lifetime value of a client might end up being thousands of dollars or hundreds of dollars depending. Worst case scenario is it doesn't work. So after 3 months, you review every alliance that you have, even sooner if it's not working. 6 weeks. And that's part of your mastermind. Let's just review this. On a scale of 1 to 10, how do you feel? Is this alliance working for you? How do you feel? How would you rate it so far? I'd rate it 10 out of 10. I'd rate it 5 out of 10. I think it's 0 at the moment. Okay, so how about we agree to shut it down? And then you might go, out of those 2, I think just the 2 of us will form our own, and we'll think about who we might get in the future. But what you've gained from the experience is 2 that you know you can work with. Remember to celebrate your successes. So when someone does get a win, when someone does give a referral, it works your way. Okay, that's on time. If I'm to allow you to come out, to leave at the right time. A couple more. You don't need one because you've got unlimited paper. There you go, Linda. And these packs here are great to have. These could be your strategic alliance packs. So you have these, again, they're an Officeworks type thing, a folder, but you keep all your reinvention. This is great for your reinvention. It's great for your strategic alliance. You keep all that stuff in the one folder. It's colourful, so you it's colourful, so you don't know. I'm going to have something over there in a pile. I can give you something else. Okay, if anyone's interested in the books that haven't seen those before, How to Master Networking and Dare to Dream, Self-Esteem and Confidence Building for Busy Women. They're 2 of the standard books that I carry around these days. Normally retail $27.50. If anyone wants to take them today, 2 for $40, and I'll just send you an invoice. You can take them with you. So I thank you for coming here today, for investing 3.5 hours of your life, of your business time. I hope it was useful for you. My website, networkingtowin.com.au, and Robyn at networkingtowin.com.au. I'd love to keep in touch with you. I will send you things from time to time Just to let you know, well, it might be an ebook, it might be all sorts of different things. If you do send me an electronic copy of your ebook, I'm more than happy to forward that to my network or to link it somehow onto LinkedIn, because I think that's what it's all about. Trust is built through workshops like this, and without the Shell Harbour City Council, I wouldn't be here. So huge thank you to Donna, and great to be here. So I'll see you next trip. Happy networking and all the best with your reinvention. And I look forward to inviting you to my film premiere, which we will definitely have in Shell Harbour.